We started exploring Vietnam in the south and visited the tropical island of Phu Quoc. Taking the plane to Ho Chi Minh City, we gained a little time back and went into the mountains of south-central Vietnam. From here we're about to move on and explore the more northern parts of the country.
So, da steht dann noch mein Bus. Das ist mal voll luxuriös hier, man passt rein. Fernseher, Klima. Das kann man schon nicht so bringen. Ledersitz.
All jokes aside, this was one of the newest and most comfortable sleeper buses I've had so far. Today I continued my travels, since I still had to make my way up all the way north to Hanoi. And so I drove to the city of Nha Trang, where I would just have a short layover to catch my plane the next day. More on that in a second.
Alter, was für eine Stage, die hier direkt an der Hauptstraße hochziehen.
After arrival I used Hostelware to locate a hostel nearby and went with the Bondi Backpackers, which offered a rooftop bar and a pool.
Das ist der Pool.
Later I went out to see what the stage was set up for, but found out it was just a huge advertisement installation.
Überall Screens, das ist dann fertig aufgebaut hier.
The next day was going to be another travel day. Due to the monsoon season and recent floods in central Vietnam, it was recommended to travel by air, since some streets had been damaged and even in Hoi An people were still walking ankle deep in the water. So I skipped Da Nang and Hoi An to directly go to Hanoi, the capital of the north.
Da sind wir wieder in Hanoi. Gerade schon durch die Christmas Street gelaufen. Und jetzt suche ich gerade mein Haus. Das müsste hier um die Ecke sein. Es ist ein Chaos hier, aber gefällt mir wieder wesentlich besser als Saigon.
I arrived in Hanoi in the early evening hours and tried to blend in with the folks on the streets of the old quarter.
Kannst du eine Riesentanzage kaufen.
Though obviously crowded as well, Hanoi has a completely different vibe than Ho Chi Minh City. You can usually find live music around every corner on the weekends. From buskers to professional bands and from karaoke to blind some musicians. Hanoi is very noisy in a charming way.
Ja, hier in der Ecke haben wir damals eine Basti gegessen. Rest in Peace, Alter. Hier sitzt da okay. Und an der gleichen Stelle steht wieder eine Band. Come on.
And then there's Spear Street, the complete cultural opposite, but the go-to area for a good night out with friends.
Get in the video now! Ich glaube, das ist sie wieder.
If there is somebody in Hanoi that can actually dance their name, it's without a doubt this lady. I talked to the musicians later and they told me she's been doing this for 10 years straight every weekend.
Ich weiß ja nicht, was hier los ist. Ah, es ist Samstagabend, deswegen ist hier die Hölle los, Mann.
I ended this evening watching some public dance classes at the lakeside of Ho An Kiem. Today, I wanted to leave the old quarter and explore the streets of Hanoi in the area surrounding the famous mausoleum of Ho Chi Minh. But with me wearing shorts, there was no way of getting into the highly secured premises.
Da ist das Mausoleum.
So I changed plans and walked to the well-known train street instead.
Ich gehe davon aus, dass die Dame nicht ohne Grund rausgekommen ist und jetzt hinzukommt. Es klingelt nämlich auch.
And at least here I got lucky, because a train was coming. Can you imagine? A train! Just kidding. But yeah, back home this would be very weird. To stand in the middle of the street and film a bypassing train. I'm aware the romance is more about the little cafes and shops that are located directly on the train tracks. I walked around the city for quite a while, observing the life of the locals and enjoying the performances on the street. A while later, it dragged me back to the street named after a delicious and nutritious drink. This walking around made me hungry, and so I got myself a delicious pho and a noodle soup shop in the old quarter to end the day. I was staying in a very sociable hostel and talked to some backpackers the last days who recommended visiting the water puppet theater right at Ho and Keem Lake.
Can I see ticket?
Sure.
Nhà hát múa rối Thăng Long biểu diễn, chỉ đạo nghệ thuật giám đốc nghệ sĩ ưu tú Trần Thanh Hiền.
Water puppetry arose in the Red River Delta and other rice-growing regions of northern Vietnam 1,000 years ago. In former times, villagers staged water puppet performances to celebrate the end of the rice harvest. Nowadays, a lot of cities have theaters to keep this tradition alive and pass it on to younger generations and tourists. Audio guides in the major languages such as English, Spanish and Chinese are available to enable you to follow the storyline. I was here a few days earlier than planned because I skipped Da Nang and Hoi An, but I didn't mind since Hanoi is really enjoyable to me. Just like Bangkok and Thailand, it feels like there's something exciting to explore around each and every corner. Even if not, at least this traffic keeps the senses awake.
Muss ich eine fette Skybar mit Lasershow. Gucken, ob ich da raufkomme. Ja, konnte leider nicht rein. Private Party.
I was told about a good live music bar in the old quarter, and so I decided to head there and check it out. Today was a jam session, and 5 minutes ago, these guys were just random guests having a beer.
Was ein fetter Bus. Das ganze Ding hat echt nur 15 Sitzplätze. Mega krass.
Not expecting much just by the word limousine, I booked a bus tour along the previous day. To my pleasant surprise, this really was a VIP transfer. And the new highway, which was still being built when we were here 5 years ago, cuts the travel time from Hanoi in half. I found a nice private room right in the center and made a plan for the upcoming days.
Ja, hier ist mein Privatzimmer. Klein, aber fein.
Just out of the guest house, I recognized some of the places around me.
Frisches Seafood aus der Halong Bay. Wie immer, Mantis-Shrimps. Er guckt mich sogar an hier. Das sind alles Speere. Scheint die anderen hier nicht zu geben. Genau hier standen wir vor 5 Jahren schon mal. Und inzwischen ist auch der Freizeitpark in Betrieb.
I had decided to do the Halong Bay cruise again because the weather seemed to be perfect for it.
Guck mal, was die Tickets hier kosten.
It turned out not buying it at one of the tour offices is about $5 cheaper.
Ja, Schweineglück mit dem Wetter diesmal. Sonnenschein. Ticket für morgen konnte ich jetzt leider nicht buchen. Da muss ich morgen einfach rechtzeitig da sein. Und ja, jetzt geht's zu Toni zum Lunchen, Brunchen, wie auch immer.
Though we just met for a few days the last time, Tony and I had stayed in contact over all these years. It was our common friend Mazde who was the reason that we even met. And so Tony invited me for brunch with his friends and family. The next morning, I was pleasantly surprised I didn't end up on a boat full of retirees, but a bunch of backpackers that were in to explore Halong Bay together instead. As part of the UNESCO World Heritage Sites, Halong Bay attracted a stunning 4.3 million tourists in the year 2019. Fortunately, the area is very wide and the tours are well organized, so you only run into other tourist groups at some of the hotspots.
Krass ist ja, muss das erste bisschen.
Oder? Ja, Mann. Aber wie gefährlich es dann auch noch ist, ne? Wir laufen jetzt ganz safe Wege hier.
Oh, pass auf, hier ist was.
The cave was found by French explorers in 1901 and has a size of around 10,000 square meters.
Sieht aus wie ein Wüstensandboden. Wieder mitten im Weg so ein Stalaktit.
Inside the cave you find a lot of beautiful rock formations, with one being especially eye-catching. The horse with the long sword.
Heute haben wir Traumwetter. Das war auf jeden Fall die 20 € nochmal wert hier. Hey Mike, how was the food?
How do you say in French? Delicious. No, bellissimo.
Bellissimo, yeah, very French. Sehr gut, yeah. Prost und sehr gut, yeah. Cheers, mate.
Prost.
The cruise continued, and I could already imagine what our next stop would be. Kayaking into one of these caves. But I passed on this one since I rather wanted to relax for half an hour listening to some music and enjoy the scenery.
Da hinten kajaken sie in die Höhle rein.
Ezekiel, I'm Mel. Nice to meet you.
Ezekiel und Mel gehen da auch jetzt in die Höhle rein. Und selbst der Doggy genießt die Aussicht. Ja, das sind Kajaks, kommen schon wieder.
Oh, I got lost on a winding road in the dark of night.
teilweise wirklich auseinandergeschoben hier. Ein richtiger Strand hier.
Let the river flows. Walking slowly in the mountains underneath the clouds.
So good, man.
We enjoyed a dip into the refreshing waters of Halong Bay, and a handful of people rented a volleyball and played a match in this beautiful setting.
Es ist komplett egal, wo du hier hinguckst. Es ist wunderschön egal.
We returned to the pier a little later than expected, but that was a blessing in disguise.
Bei so einem Cruise bist du auch gar nicht böse drum, wenn es mal eine Stunde länger dauert, ne?
Back in Halong Town, we decided to meet back as the group we were during the day and go to the Backpackers pub, the place where I met Tony. And even the guys from Midnight Market had made their way here. Today, I was already leaving the Halong Bay area. I wanted to go back to Hanoi to either explore Sapa even further up in the north or Ninh Binh in the next days. Right after arrival, I met some German backpackers at the hostel and decided to join them on a night out in the streets of Hanoi.
Mitten im Getümmel hier. Markus ist noch am Start. Und die anderen beiden sehen wir da vorne. Da wo der Große ist. Da wo der Große ist. Da hinten, genau. Hier macht die Polizei gerade die Straße frei und sorgt dafür, dass die Autos wieder fahren können.
Together we went to Tom's bar, which at this time of the evening felt more like a proper nightclub. And what would be better than a delicious banh mi sandwich to end the night?
Macht Matthias gerade das geilste bei mir ever. Wen ich hier gefunden habe, euch beiden in Vietnam. Andersrum, ihr habt ja mich gefunden eigentlich.
Tim and Angela are friends from home who happen to be traveling Vietnam at the same time in the opposite direction. Just a weekend they arrived in Hanoi, a huge Korean pop culture festival was held, which was free for everyone to attend.
베트남 국립전통무용단의 공연 지금 만나보시죠.
Several K-pop acts which I had never heard of were performing live on stage. Nevertheless, we enjoyed the free show. Having Korea on my list of must-go travel destinations, I really enjoyed getting a first glimpse of their culture. But back to Vietnam and Hanoi's crowded streets full of entertainment. Music is everywhere in Hanoi, and I cannot even imagine the city without it. We enjoyed some singers in the Beer Hoi corner before walking back to Beer Street again to end the night. It was really nice to see some of my friends from back home, after being on the road on my own for over 1.5 months already.
gut. So. Die sind hier nach Walking Street mit dem Roller und er zockt einfach irgendwelche Games. Seriously. Hier nochmal geiles Banh Mi abgreifen hier mit.
Muss mir auch schicken.
Pascal und Matze und Jimbo am Start. Banh Mi!
From the crowded streets of Hanoi, we're now going to visit Ninh Binh, a town famous for the surrounding landscape clustered with limestone hills and rice fields. And on the last leg of my trip, we're heading back to Thailand again to enjoy the Christmas days on another tropical island. So tune in on the next episode of Vagabond.